Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the HEMA Pandemic Livestream Class. Today we're going to do something that we haven't touched on a lot in this pandemic series, and that's the side sword. We have been doing the side sword as a regular class for the Patreon page, but I want to give you an idea of what we're doing with this sword. Now, what we're going to look at today is not just techniques of using the sword in the fight. What we're going to do today is look at entering the fight from out of distance with a provocation so that I have an action and a tempo to work in. So we're going to start slightly out of distance. My partner and I, we come into distance or just out of distance, and we can be in any position. It doesn't matter. Because right now, if we just keep coming in, neither one of us has a true advantage in tempo yet. So I want to make sure that I can create that advantage. So we come in and we're doing the same thing, and I know I'm out of distance. He knows I'm out of distance. Even if I step in, go ahead and move your sword, please. I'm still out of distance. And because we both know this, that's something that he doesn't need to worry about my attack. So if we come back in, often we'll see these kinds of things start with a beat, but if I give him a beat, he can disengage underneath it, and then I'm just gonna walk onto his point, or there's other options he can do. So I don't want to give him that motion, that tempo, and that action. Instead, I'm going to make him respond to me. So let's do that again. Okay. We come in. As I come into distance, I'm going to set myself. Now he's like, ooh, he's going to hit my sword. Yep. Because that's exactly what it looks like. So let's go back to that again. And go ahead and respond. So I have the tempo. This is one option. I just wanted to show you the way that we train it here at DEMAS to get the different options. The fight occurs before the swords make contact, or before the weapons make contact. By the time our swords, our knives, our fists, whatever, have made contact, everything else has already happened. Let's go and do that again. Okay. So we start way out of distance. Neither one of us has to worry about anything. I close distance. I drop it down. Well, go back to where you were. Sure. Can you hit me?
No.
Go ahead and hit my hand. Hit my arm. So because I'm holding my weapon here, I know that I've protected my arm. Go back to outside guard where you were. He can't hit me from this side without a lot of movement, which is going to give me time. Now, when I come in and I do this, what's it look to you like I'm going to do?
It looks like you're getting ready to throw a cut.
What kind?
I really see a squalembrado swinging on into the motion here right now. Yeah.
What it looks like it's coming. And I want him to respond to that. I step here, and I have lots of advantage. But what if he doesn't respond, but he just moves? So let's do it again. Do whatever you'd like. Okay. And then we're going to discuss what just happened. And when everything goes right, we're going to break that down.
Perfect.
So we're here. Now, he's out of my distance for that action. He thinks. Let's go back and do that again. And I can take his wrist. Because he's an outside guard. And because he's an outside guard, he left an exposed target. So let's do that again. He's one of those fencers that likes to maintain distance. I come through, he moves back out of the way. Go ahead and move your sword. No, move your sword, Ellie. There's really no chance whatsoever of me making a strike on him. It could not happen. Let's do that again. But because he's an outside guard, that turns his sword and his wrist over, giving me the target. But what I want you to take from this is not that I was able to hit him on the wrist. What I want you to take from this is that what I am doing is creating a need for him to move to give me tempo. Because without tempo, if I attack without proper control of tempo, he has the advantage. I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it wrong. And I want you to take advantage of it.
Yes, sir.
And what I mean by doing it wrong, not the move back, just to the side.
Sure.
I come through. Is that a good?
That's not a good one, yeah.
Because you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm doing it this way. He has to deal with what this is.
Mm-hmm.
He really has to.
I have to do something to be able to not, because that's a threat coming.
So ready?
Ready.
You want to go up that high?
No.
One of the nice things about working through it, and I want you to see this process, because I want you to see, and I want you to see, John, the options that are available.
Mm-hmm.
It is just as important to know what doesn't work as to know what works. Because if you know what doesn't work, you can get rid of all of those options. They are no longer on the table. So, you want to work through another one, or you want some
Let's take a
advice?
look at another one.
So we come through, I initiate my action, he has to do something. No, I'll go ahead and you're going to do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So that one didn't work.
No, so what can we do? You want some advice?
Far away.
All right, so let's switch roles.
Okay.
So I'm an outside guard. You're going to step in with a passing step to high hanging outside guard.
Okay.
That's inside guard.
Yep.
There we go. Because I need to worry about that point. I can't hit you here. I can hit you here, but the process of your cut, go ahead and complete your cut. Removes the target, so that does me no good. So, the way I can make it fail for him, he can still cut through.
But you're closing the line.
What I did not do was attack. Right? Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
So when I go in and I do this action, I'm going to do it this time.
Okay.
All I'm doing is posing a question. Hi, John, how are you doing?
Doing good, sir. How are you?
I've had better days. Now we're here, but what can you do to make my day better?
Make your day better?
Yeah.
I can move again.
All right, go ahead. Do whatever you want. So there's where he wants to go. Go back, do it again. He's got to push my sword out of the way, because if he doesn't, don't do anything. I have that target. I know that because I'm lined up. He knows that because he's smart. So he's going to push that out of the way. And I'm going to do the same action. This is the provocation that I'm using to get him to to do an action, to create a tempo in which I can move within. If he doesn't create a tempo, who's creating the tempo? If you don't create the tempo.
You are.
And if I'm creating the tempo, that means you have a tempo to move in.
Yep.
So the provocation is not just about getting him to move, but getting him to move in such a way that he creates a tempo that is useful for you. A tempo that's not useful doesn't matter. I'm going to do that same thing, but tell me if this is going to work, just from your experience.
Okay.
Okay, same thing. Ready?
Ready.
Can I do anything?
Right now?
No, don't even go back to where you were. Can I do anything?
Yeah.
What?
You can throw a cut.
What good would it do me? Look how far apart we are.
Because you're not closing the measure into that spot. Yeah.
So yeah, I had a tempo when you moved, but it did me no good because I was out
Of measure. Yeah.
So think of measure, distance, as the base of the shelving unit. And all your different actions are on this shelf. But if you don't have a good solid base, distance, measure, those shelves aren't gonna hold any of the techniques that you need. Right? So even though he gave me a tempo to work in, it did me no good because I was out of measure. I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna mess up, and I want you to tell me how I messed up.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready. You're offline there with your guard.
Yeah, but there's a little bit more. Go ahead and respond.
Okay.
Respond to it.
You stopped your action and
I
moved.
hesitated.
Yeah, you hesitated in your action, so you stopped.
There is tempo in stillness. And that moment of me stopping my action was a tempo. You went to inside guard, which is a great example. Let's do it again. This time, you've seen that I respond to what you do. So take advantage of it.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
I was too fast. It did me no good, did it?
Did you no good at all? And I can follow right behind your line there.
And I'm well within measure. Because my moment of stillness gave you the tempo to turn your, go back to outside guard, inside guard thrust. There was no stillness in there, was it?
No.
So I created an extra tempo that you...
With your stillness, so I could see, because I'm the smart fighter as well, I can see that extra tempo and follow inside of that beat.
Because you understand the path of your sword. When I hit that moment of stillness, I fell off the path.
Yeah.
And for more information on the path, go through the videos we have on this channel, and there's a whole video on the path of the sword. So I need to create a provocation that's going to give me tempo and measure that's useful to me. Let's do a different one.
Okay.
All right, so whatever you want, it doesn't matter. Okay. So we're here. We're both in woman's guard, but he's left, I'm right. The problem, I'm gonna step in and make the hit, don't do anything.
Okay.
Is that if I do that, go ahead and slowly counter me. How difficult is that gonna be?
Very difficult for you to step into that cut.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it, but I need him out of there. But I need to have a reason, or he needs to have a reason to move. So instead of stepping forward to make my strike, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna do it with an advance.
There's a threat there.
So when he moves, I redouble. Go ahead and defend it.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
Oh,
I'm not
no
going
way
to get
you're
in
gonna
there
make that.
in time at all.
Let's switch sides and do that again.
Sure. You want me to do the same action?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
So let me make successful on this. This is the threat that he sees. And it's just the tip of my sword right across the tendon of his arm. What's that gonna do?
It's going to kill, make my arm useless.
Yeah.
I won't be able to fight
Good.
with this.
So that's a threat. So this time just defend it. I'm not,
Okay.
you're gonna win this defense. And then he gets that, but don't pull so far back.
Yes, sir.
Do it again. You don't need to pull back, do you?
No.
If you pull back, what did you do?
Creating more tempo there. There is a time of stillness.
Yes. So as I throw this, and I can just cut right through. I can use his sense of threat to create an opportunity for a target. You'll notice on that target, I want to change the way I say that. You'll notice in that action, my cut, both the threat and the real cut were the same cut.
Mm-hmm.
What was the difference between them?
Where you stepped.
The target,
but
the trajectory was the same, and the target was different because of my step. My first step was an advance,
Mm-hmm.
which is a short change in measure.
Your second step was a passing step, which is a long change in measure.
Which I can get away with because you need that moment of stillness to stop your sword.
To end so that I can try and come back another direction.
And once I understand that, same thing, go ahead and defend yourself. Ready?
Okay.
Do I need to worry about you counterattacking me?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm actually right now focused more on what the heck your sword was doing, because you're coming with a sudden cut, you're coming back. Where's this going to go? I have no idea at the moment. So you've actually created hesitation in me.
Right. And if you are following your opponent's sword, you will always be late. So I want to show that one more time. Then I want to show you something about my cuts that's very important when I'm doing this. So I'm going to be successful on this one. I'm going to be successful. So there's my strike, right into the arm. Go ahead and defend it. You're going to be successful this time.
Okay.
Easy. Now, because I understand the way this fight works, I come through here. I am not trying to hit my opponent. That's a hard thing for many people to wrap their heads around. I am not trying to hit my opponent because I know that I am the most important person in the world. And as soon as I start thinking about hitting my opponent, I've now made him the center of my universe. I'm too busy thinking about him and not myself. So instead of thinking of it, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to move through my guards, and he's going to get in the way of my guard transition. And when we do that, let's go ahead and do that again. I'm going to be successful.
Okay.
You're going to be successful. I just went from woman's guard to inside guard to long guard. That was my transitions of guards. Name off your guards.
Okay. Outside guard, long guard.
That's all we needed. You were not trying to hit me, you just went.
Yep.
Do that again, but no footwork.
Okay.
I'm going to do footwork, you're not.
Got it.
But you're going to still do
Okay,
your
you want me to do it as
Yeah.
Okay.
Why aren't you hitting me?
Because I'm at a distance.
So, moving through the guards is 2 tiers. He has the movement of his guard, but once he's here, what creates the strike with your sword?
My step.
Your footwork, not the use of your sword. Your sword creates the threat and the cover. Your footwork controls the distance and the measure. If I go to do the initiation of my action, but with no footwork, it does me no good. It's only when I do work. And I'm choosing my guards because I need to make sure that, let's say he just countercuts me. Go ahead and hit me on the outside of my arm.
Okay.
Great. If I cut down this way, go ahead and hit me on the arm again. How easy is that?
Very, very easy to
Do
do.
it again. Hit me on the arm. Because I'm not hiding behind my sword. Do it again.
I have no target.
Every time I throw these cuts, I'm putting my forte or my cage in front of my sternum. That allows me to hide my arm behind my hand, which is behind the edge of my sword or behind my cage, depending on what type of sword I have. So when I throw this, I'm provoking him, but I'm still covering myself. So now, when he did this originally, you weren't trying to hit me, were you?
No.
So go ahead and do what you were doing before.
Okay.
Which is why he's going to outside guard, then long guard, not just to long guard.
Yep.
Because if he just goes to long guard, he catches on my cage. If I just go to long guard, go ahead and hit me.
Okay.
Easily.
Yep.
So we have to move through our guards. Now, I've created the action I want. So go ahead and defend yourself again.
Got it.
Real slow. I hit. There's low hanging outside guard. Low hanging inside guard. Outside guard. Inside guard. Long guard. Low hanging outside guard. Low hanging inside guard. Inside guard. And that's how I get the redouble into my action, because I needed him to create the tempo.
And another really fun bit on that there is I'm in my movement here, especially to the initial, is I'm working to find the connection of your blade to stop me so I could travel to my long guard. So when you did that, I'm actually traveling further out.
And then when I step, I'm stepping away from his sword.
So we have opened even larger of a gap between my blade and him and me to cover. So I'm now trying to get all the way over here. I'm not going to get there in time. But let's say I do something really crazy. Well, now I've traveled even greater of a distance to this side of my body here. Do you agree?
Yes, very much so. And one more point on let's do it again from this angle.
How's here?
A little bit more. More. Perfect. So, I throw my action. He covers that. But he just wants to hit me, so he stabs me anyway. That's why I'm going through my guards. I still have the defense built into my offensive action, because an offense without a defense is only half the game. Just like defense without any offense is only half the game. If I am purely offensive, I can hit my opponent, but I'm going to get hit too. If I'm purely defensive, I can defend against his attacks up to a point. But now I'm following his sword because I'm too busy trying to be defensive and trying to put my sword where he's going. And as soon as he redoubles or he molinees or he does a parade or whatever, I'm in a lot of trouble, because now I'm out of place, giving him a wide open target. And you'll notice with that, he did it with a squalembrato. Do that again. Not a reversal squalembrato. Do it again. I'm going to cover it. Because if he does it with his squalembrato, he's moving in the same plane as my sword. If he does it with a reversal squalembrato, I can get my edge in the way. So moving through your guards, let me change the way I say that. Understanding the cuts, the guards, and the path is what allows you to manipulate the tempo that they are giving you.
And especially coming back to the path, and this is a question here, is going back to what we've talked a lot about there, understand yourself so you can understand another, expanding that bubble of understanding so they enter that bubble and you can feel them. If you know that path, you're knowing what their path of the sword is going to have to travel on for their defense.
Right.
Right?
Yes. What I don't know is how well they understand the path.
Mm-hmm.
So give me a reverso squalembrato followed by a fendente.
Reverso squalembrato followed by a fendente.
And I'm out of distance, so
okay.
Go ahead. Come forward a little bit. I'm going to get out of your way.
Cool. How's this?
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay. So let's switch sides.
Okay.
Do it again. There you go. What I want you to pay attention to is his arm. It never stops. Go ahead and do it again. It retracts, but it doesn't stop. Do it again. He begins that action, and I threaten him there. He's going to do something differently. I've now created a provocation, even though he initiated the action. So, how's our measure? Go ahead and
check and measure here. Right and measure.
Perfect, right?
Yep.
Go ahead and do it again. I'm not going to move.
And I'm out of measure just from that lean of yours.
So, go ahead and do it again. Now he has to do something. And there's everything I need right there. Even when he tried to void it, because his sword was moving, and he realized that he missed me, and now he's following my sword, it's hard to think about a third thing.
Yes.
Your feet.
Yep. I'm trying to get time to see if I can get my sword in the way so I don't have you stick me right now, because I feel that point traveling towards me, and that feels like this little buzzer kind of going off on me.
You can feel the adrenaline
I can feel the adrenaline kick in with that there. So when I'm stepping into here, I'm coming with this cut. Ha ha ha. Everything's oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let me get myself cut. Oh dear.
Or it doesn't need to be a cut. Go ahead and do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Check measure.
Check and measure.
Happy?
Mm-hmm. And even trying to pull myself back, I'm still getting pulled
by the sword.
Forward. I'm actually still in this point, and I need to wait until it's coming here before I can even think about going back as my point's going back.
Now, yes, that's very true. Now, I have fenced with some amazingly adept fencers. Do it again, but as soon as your lead foot hits, retire.
Got it.
And it doesn't matter because I know he created a tempo, a longer tempo than I had. Let's do that again. He does a passing step. I do a void. Hold it. He misses. He realizes that. I come up through high inside guard with a thrust unicorn. He pushes off to retire. Now he covers that sword. I just turn my hand over to long guard, to low hanging inside guard, or outside guard, low hanging inside guard. And I'm in there before the circle of his sword completes around his body. My circle is smaller and in front of him, or in front of me, in front of him. Let's go and do it again, just a little bit faster. I'm not going to move. Check measure.
Checking measure.
Great. Ready?
Ready.
What do you feel?
I'm just not there. You're inside of my action. So because you have the smaller circle, your circle fits inside of the circle of my blade, the path of my sword right now. Your path is a smaller path in that circle of yours. And so you're inside of where my travel angle is.
Good. Now I have another question for you. Let's do it again.
Sure.
Check measure.
Check and measure.
You're starting to lose.
Yep.
There you go. All right, good. Go back to that again. Actually, from seeing me in this guard, what are you expecting me to do?
I'm expecting you to do a ascending action to beat it aside.
Right. So and with my step, which way am I probably going to step?
This way here.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead. Everything makes sense. Do it again. There's
my entire picture that I saw of what you would be doing is been changed.
Right. In the middle of your action.
Yep. And that goes back to where in a few of our pieces, I've talked about mental piece there. As you build the mental picture and everything, you've just changed my mental picture in the middle of my action here. And that's putting a beat of tempo in my thinking.
Yes. Yes. Now I have a question with this whole action. Let's do it one more time. Who is provoking?
You are.
Why?
You are inviting me by being in that load in tail guard there.
So go ahead and I'm going to do what you're expecting me to do.
Okay.
But you should have a plan in mind to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Ready.
That's going to be way too long.
Mm-hmm.
Because look where I'm at. Do it again. So what I would suggest, don't let me touch your sword.
That's right.
Yeah.
Drop the
How
target.
much better was that?
Oh, much better.
Right? I know this is right. Go ahead and do that same thing because you're expecting it. Who has length?
You do.
And I'm, to be completely honest, I'm not as worried as a thrust to my thigh as I'm sure you are with
With a
this.
thrust to my face.
So what are you going to do?
I'm going to pull away and come up with a cover.
And did you see how I covered?
Mm-hmm.
We're here. Go ahead.
Dropping to outside guard there.
Yep. And then fall into long guard. There is my tempo. I provoked with a threat to his face. So you can provoke with an action. You can provoke with a guard. You can provoke with measure. And you can provoke with a threat. When you provoke the opponent into an action, you gain the advantage of tempo as long as you understand the provocation that you're creating. If you don't understand that provocation, it's useless. Okay? Just because you have a really fast car, it does you no good if you don't know how to drive. Just because I have a provocation, it does me no good if I don't know how to capitalize on it. And with that, we're going to stop here. So John, please tell us, what did you learn today?
So taking a look at a couple big pieces here. Well, one is actually small, but it's really big. Got to remember there that while we transition through our guards, it's so that when they are reacting in the midst of my action, change it.
Because you can.
Because I can. Yep. So actually going back and thinking about that again is a big piece. Second piece in this entire area there is, it was actually how you put it there was, learn what you cannot do by doing it, see what doesn't work, and then throw that out. So that leaves you with another way to getting to what you can do.
And quicker.
Yeah, because it's easier to find what you can't do than it is to find what you can do.
Yeah. In your training, I hope you fail. I hope you fail quickly, and I hope you fail often. We have been taught and trained that failure is a bad thing. Failure is a gathering of information. The only failure is if we are unable or unwilling to continue. So find what doesn't work. And the only way you can gain information is through failure. If you do it right the first time, perfectly, it was either luck or there's another one. I wish I remembered what it was. But you do lose the gathering of information if you're doing it right. And to be completely honest, the chances of doing it 100% perfectly the first time, 1 in a million. Because, as John and other students here will tell you, I can always find something wrong.
Mm-hmm. I've been here now with you for back with you here now for 11 years, been working with you for about 6. And I'm still making lots and lots of failures, even in very basic things.
As do I. Remember, you don't know what you don't know. That's what outside observers are for. So don't worry about failure. Utilize it for the tool it is. That's going to reduce the amount of information you need to sift through your brain in the midst of the action. It just makes it much easier. I'm not going to do that because I know it doesn't work. How do I know it doesn't work? I got hit by it in drills. And with that, we're going to wish you a very good day. Take care of yourself. Take care of those around you. Stay safe, stay sane, and we'll see you on the other side. All the best to you all. Boom.
Be well, everybody. Good to see you.
Great job, sir.
Thank you very much.